So it begins again. This is a 60 model Chevy C10. I want to say these are still considered Apaches possibly. This one came in, customers building their own vehicle. We are just gonna fix some of their metal work, do the body work and the paint work on it. They've got a chassis and engine and drivetrain already built. What I've seen pictures of is pretty badass. This is the truck that was owned by the wife. Her dad owned it since new and has passed it on to them. They've had it for quite a while sitting in dry storage. I guess recently they've begun working on it, or here in the past couple of years maybe. But they have brought it to us to sandblast it, put it into an epoxy coating and see what is underneath it. It looks to have just a factory paint job on it. So doesn't look like we're gonna uncover much more than what we already see. These are the old parts that are gonna be used in the build. The rest of the sheet metal, other than the doors which are sitting over on a stand, they've all been replaced. Apparently they weren't good enough to use to work with. But this one, in all the areas that it's normally pretty bad, not too bad. There's a little bit of pitting down there. Once we sandblast it, we'll be able to get a better idea of how solid it really is. Looks to be a little bit of surface up here. Maybe it's gonna turn into more than surface when we blast, but small hole right in that area, 2 of them. But honestly, for a 60 model, this one's in really good shape. They've already done some repairs themselves. They've done these inner floor patches. They put a outer rocker on it. Looks like there was a cab corner they replaced right there. And then over here, looks like the cab corner must have been okay before we sandblast at least. They've just done a outer rocker here. And like I said, overlaid some patches here on the floor, a little bit on the kick panel. We're gonna blast it down, see what's underneath it, see how good, bad, or ugly it may be, which compared to most of them that I've worked on, it's pretty good shape. And to some of you that may sound like, what? That looks like a lot of rust, but a lot of it's just surface rust. Here are the doors. There is a little spot on this that we're gonna have to cut out and repair. Got a pretty good dent in this area, that got a flat or buckled area here that oil cans a little bit. So by the time we pull that out, that may go most of the way out of a bad spot. Got a few little dents here. Edge of this door looks pretty straight. And when you get down to this door, it needs a little bit of straightening. So, like I said, looks like they've done a little patchwork on that lower inside portion and that one right there. So they must have been sitting with dirt in them. Once that dirt gets wet, it stays wet, or it takes quite a bit longer to dry. So those are areas that are real common to rust through on. But this is the earlier model of the 60s. The 60 to 63s had the pullback window with doors like this. And then 64 to 66 have a lean forward windshield and the door frames come completely up. This is my favorite style though. I dig this. I think with that front end, it looks a little more hot rodish, a little bit more attitude to it. But this is our next up and coming. We're gonna, I think next Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, have the blast guy out here, get all these blasted up and take them straight to the paint booth and put an epoxy coating on them. And they're, how do you say, preserved. Got a rust inhibitor in the epoxy coating, and it's also a material that can be sanded as well as body worked right over. So let's see what we come up with after the sandblast. But this is gonna be something we're doing this winter. Looking forward to it. My arms aren't really looking forward to it, but I love these trucks and making them pretty again. So we'll see what we can get done on this one. Follow along. Have a good day.